US President Donald Trump has reportedly asked Japanese Prime Minister Sanae Takaichi to avoid further escalation in a dispute with China during a call this week. According to a report by the Wall Street Journal, Trump expressed a desire for Takaichi to avoid further infuriating Beijing on a call on Tuesday. Trump, who is seeking to maintain a fragile trade war truce with China, did not make any specific demands to Takaichi regarding the matter. This was reportedly the first discussion between Takaichi and Trump following a diplomatic spat between Japan and China over Taiwan. The report says Trump spoke with Takaichi after Chinese President Xi Jinping called Trump and spoke about China's historic claim to Taiwan. Xi reportedly told Trump that it is the joint responsibility of Washington and Beijing to manage the world order. Taiwan, which rejects Beijing's ownership claim, has maintained a return to China is not an option for its 23 million people. Japan, on the other hand, has dismissed the report, saying there is no such fact. Takaichi, in her reporting of the call with Trump, says that they discussed the U.S. president's conversation with Xi as well as bilateral relations. However, there was no mention of any such warning by President Trump. China has repeated its criticism of Takaichi's remark on Taiwan. It has warned that Japan will have to pay a painful price if it steps out of line over Taiwan.
The phone call between the leaders of the US and Japan is a matter between the two countries. We will not comment on it. The Taiwan question is China's internal affairs and will not allow interference from any outside forces.
The row between Asia's two biggest economies began after Takaichi sparked the biggest diplomatic bust-up with Beijing earlier this month. She told Parliament that a hypothetical Chinese attack on Taiwan could trigger Japanese military action. Her remarks enraged Beijing, prompting it to warn its citizens against travel to its East Asian neighbor. Joining us live on the broadcast is Collins Chong-Yu Keat, Foreign Affairs and Security Strategist, University of Malaya. Thank you so much for joining us on WION and welcome back. How significant is this U.S. intervention, alleged or not, in your opinion?
Well, the key here isn't Trump silencing Japan. It is Trump who is controlling the tempo. We've seen how Takaichi is warning that Japan will respond if China to attack Taiwan. Has China's shock has changed the whole power equation. So basically, Takaichi told Beijing that it's no longer hiding behind this notion of strategic ambiguity. So that message has already landed in Beijing. So Trump's call now for her to dial down this rhetoric is not a reversal, it's a recalibration. So Washington wants to avoid giving Beijing the pretext or an excuse to escalate before this platform of US, Japan, Taiwan complete these critical hardening steps to rebuild America's defense industrial base under Trump, to accelerate the arms deliveries to Taiwan, of course, also to position Japan new missile deployment in the islands closer to Taiwan. So this sequence is dilute. Takaichi opens the strategic reality. She forces Beijing into a corner, and now Trump steps in to manage this escalation and to prevent China from using her comments as a pretext for further escalation. Before, Trump has managed to consolidate the front position with both Japan and Taiwan. So for Taiwan, this dual approach is ideal because Japan has declared its red line, and Trump is making sure that the situation doesn't flare up before Taiwan's new defense system, before Japan's new, missile system brought in by Trump has, entered into high gear. So for China, this message is uncomfortable. Of course, they can no longer isolate Takaichi as a rogue voice because Trump's intervention shows that, what is fully and of course in full command of the broader strategic choreography of the East play. So in short, Takaichi has changed the whole equation, and Trump is now managing the post, comment in terms of managing the pace and momentum. So together they have tightened the deterrent structure, and Beijing now is further trapped into a corner. They have left with fewer options than before, and I think it's a very strategic move by Trump.
All right, well, we'll be watching very closely. Collins Chong-Yu Keat, thank you so much for joining us on WION. I look forward to speaking to you again soon.